This is before I deleted Facebook off my phone, so I think I was like getting up in the morning one day, and I was deleting Facebook off my phone. It's one of the best things I've ever done, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but this is before I did that.
Yeah.
Scrolling through. Oh, look, Barry's talking to some dude. What's this all about? And it was you.
Yeah.
And I plug it in, and I just was like listening. I was like, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
I can listen to, first off, I love listening to Barry talk, but I was impressed with, like, your kind of questions and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And, like, your responses to what Barry was saying, and your whole, like, opening monologue about Barry I thought was hilarious and on the nose.
I have one for you, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't done this in a while, but I do have one for you.
It's the Black Aaron broadcast. It's the Black Aaron podcast. It's the Black Aaron broadcast.
Welcome to the Black Aaron broadcast. All right, I have an awesome guest here. This guy flew in from Australia, which I think is like a 14-hour flight, 12 to 14-hour flight.
It's 14 coming from Australia, about 15 or 16 going.
Jeez, all right, because you're going upstream.
Yeah. You got to go with the turn of the globe, so you get the headwinds.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going against the turn, so you get the tailwinds, so you go faster.
Jeez. All right. This guy has held screenings in NYC, New Jersey, Tokyo. Had an honorable mention for a documentary at the New Jersey International Film Festival. He has legit IMDb credits.
I don't know if they're still legit.
No, they're legit. I saw them. I looked you up, man. He's a father. He's actually the cousin of one of my best friends, Hipster God, a.k.a. Barry Sutton. He is his favorite movies are Fight Club, Kill Bill, and The Shining. He's loved Ghostbusters since he was 2 and used to play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I love because I did all that stuff when I was a kid. His Nana asked him when he was 5 years old what he wanted to be, and he said he wanted to make films, so he's known what he wanted to do for a long time. He was a chief editor at a documentary website called, is it Babel?
Imbibe and Inspire.
Imbibe and Inspire,
yeah.
And he spearheaded a successful Kickstarter campaign raising over $30,000. So this is my guest, Ruben Meltzer.
Hey Aaron, nice to be here.
Welcome to the Black Aaron broadcast. And the most important thing I forgot to mention is this guy is not only one of, if not the, I'm going to go ahead and say, my biggest fan. First time I've interviewed a fan and international guest, came here all the way from Australia. I mean, you, I don't know, I got a lot of positive feedback from you when I first started my podcast. And, I mean, welcome back to the U.S., man.
I'm happy to be back.
And I'm super glad to have you here, brother.
Happy to be here. I'm, like, I'm nerding out, man. Like,
yeah, let's nerd out.
I'm a big fan of what you do, so it's like, let me message you and see what you're up to, if I could come on and have a chat and meet you. I think one of the things that really attracted me to your podcast was, like, a lot of the similarities I saw in you, in me.
Yeah.
We're both Jersey boys. We both wilded out for a long time.
Yeah.
And, like, we're both people,
People.
So, and I really enjoyed, a lot of what I do in my documentary stuff is interview people. Mm-hmm. And so, listening to you talk to people is something that I take inspiration from. So, I really have always enjoyed your guests that you have on and the people that you chat to. And I thought, hey, it'd be fun to sit down and chat with this guy. I feel like he's my friend already. So let's become real friends.
Yeah, that's really crazy because I actually had an idea to interview someone who was a fan of the show. Because I wanted to figure out ways to reach out to fans and ask them what they want, and because I have like all these downloads and stuff, but I don't know who's exactly listening. I can just kind of see where they are in a map, but to interact with them more. And so for you to be coming to the U.S. During the summer, and for us to kind of coordinate this interview as a fan, and a friend, is just super cool. So I'm kind of like executing my goals, my short-term goals here.
It's all just falling into place.
It's all just falling into place.
Like manifest destiny, right?
Something like that, except less killing,
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot less killing involved. But you're making your dreams come true just by willing it.
I suppose so. Also, mad respect to you, man. As a father, I'm a new father. Yeah. You got 2 kids,
Congrats,
a girl and a boy.
Girl and a boy, yeah.
How old?
My daughter's 5 and my son's 2.5. I remember being like quite young, maybe 7, or 8, and my parents took me to one of the museums in New York that had an exhibit on Magritte.
What's Magritte?
Magritte was the artist. He's a postmodern artist. He did the one that's like of a picture of a pipe, and it says, "This is not a pipe," in French.
Oh.
You know this one?
Okay.
But he does all these really interesting pieces of art that I just...
Is that Dada, kind of? It's like
No,
art making fun of art,
Dadaism is
like...
more minimalist. His is like, he does these beautiful landscapes where like the top half of the picture will be daylight, and the bottom half will be nighttime.
Oh.
But all kind of seamlessly kind of goes together.
Blending.
Yeah, and you know, being like 8 years old, I was obsessed with like horror films and gore and stuff. And there's this one painting that he had done. It's like a mantelpiece with a gun and like these bloody intestines like dripping down on the mantelpiece, and it was just like I was like, ooh, this guy is awesome. So I was like obsessed with Magritte as a kid. They didn't want me to watch R-rated horror films or anything like that, so my Nana would always do that. Whenever she would look after me, my parents were like out on a date or something, or out of town.
Yeah.
My Nana would be like, "Let's go to Blockbuster." Remember going to Blockbuster?
Yeah, I remember I used to love it.
And like we'd go and we'd pick out like some horror films, some R-rated horror films.
Really?
Yeah.
Nanas are the best. They give you exactly what you want and you need.
Yeah. So I was exposed to some really great, horror films as a kid. Like Alien is one of my all-time favorite films as well.
Cool.
And like just like I remember watching like the Hellraiser movies when I was little.
That was sick.
A bunch of the Nightmare on Elm Street. And,
those were classic horrors. You know, before Nosferatu, after Nosferatu, before Scream.
Before Scream, all the pre-Scream stuff.
That was the stuff.
There were
after the Wolfman and all that.
It was like the second kind of.
I'd say
second renaissance of horror.
Yeah, probably second wave, maybe.
And it was like it was a change in the horror scene in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, I think that was legit.
Yeah, and I was into it. I loved it. Loved it so much.
I was too. My brother liked it, so he made me watch it. It scared the crap out of me, but I loved it. That and anime.
Oh, man. I grew up on it, too. Devoured anime.
Devoured it, yeah. I had to read those subtitles quick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, especially like when you're watching like Evangelion.
Oh, I didn't really get into a lot of those mech warrior ones.
Well, Evangelion's not really mech. That's
robots?
Not robots either.
Is it? Is it just space alien?
Not even
people?
Space aliens.
So what is it?
It's being sent by God.
Oh.
Dude, it's deep. It's really deep. Really deep. You gotta watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now.
That doesn't affect your Jewish senses?
No, I mean, like, there is a lot of things in that show that are referencing Judaism and like the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh wow!
So and it's its own like kind of mythology and stuff.
They made up their own mythology.
Yeah, it's really
but they probably borrowed from.
They borrowed a lot of other things, but it really kind of made up their own. A lot of Jewish mysticism is in there, which is crazy because it's a Japanese thing. But there's like you can watch it. There's like Hebrew characters here and there.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch that show.
Okay, up there. How do you feel about the Hollywood film landscape? Presently.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but it's cool at the same time. I think that's kind of what I said. It's like in the pre-interview questions. It's like there's a really cool stuff that's going on, in like the world of streaming, but at the same time we are stuck in this rut of nothing but sequels and nothing but prequels, nothing but reboots. Like, I'm sorry, I got no interest in watching Lion King again. I want to watch Lion King? I'll pop the DVD on at home.
Yeah.
But people are nuts about it. They're going crazy. They're loving it. And I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of understand what they're doing with, like I don't know about much of, about Mulan or anything. But they're remaking Mulan, but it's not a musical this time. So that kind of interests me a little bit, where they're actually doing something different, which is okay. You can take a story and you can do something different with it. That's fine. But a lot of these times they're not. And it does get kind of frustrating because they're not really giving a lot of opportunity to these young minds that have brilliant ideas because they're playing it too safe.
Yeah.
But I think what we're getting now is a lot of this kind of fatigue. Why are films like The Dark Phoenix and what was Hellboy that are supposed to be reboots of franchises or like continuations of massive stories that have been going on for like these last how many years failing because it's fatigue. I think people are starting to get tired of it.
Yeah, I tried to watch Dark Phoenix. And Hellboy. Didn't
Hellboy
work.
I watched and it was very disappointing. Although
Corny.
very corny. It was a lot of ham-fisted jokes that just didn't fly. But which is unfortunate because David Harbour could bring it. He could totally bring it. He could be a great Hellboy if they had the right script. The monsters at the end were really cool, really dope. But it was like a little bit too little, too late at that point in time. So, and Dark Phoenix I haven't watched yet. I do want to watch it. I'm a big nerd. Like I love comic books, and I love what the MCU is doing. I think that's one of the most exciting things that's going on in Hollywood. It's not going to go away, but what Kevin Feige, the executive producer and producer behind all the films, is doing is he's hiring young talent. So he's getting people like Taika Waititi in, who has done nothing but these indie films to do Thor, and people love it. He's getting people like the person who did Spider-Man. He's done one film before doing Spider-Man. The people that did like the Endgame and Infinity War. They before that they were doing episodes of television. Yeah. So and Kevin Feige is opening the door for a lot of these young filmmakers to express themselves in a Hollywood studio setting, which is great. I think that's very exciting. And you are getting, the Russo brothers are doing films outside of the Marvel universe now. Yeah. So it's very cool and very encouraging to see stuff like that. But at the same time, you still got Hollywood studios, you still got Disney trying to reboot everything else.
Yeah, and Disney just, they did a deal with Comcast, I believe, to have controlling rights of Hulu.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
and so,
they're gobbling everything.
Yeah, and they got Fox before that, or 21st Century Fox.
They got Fox,
so they're entering the streaming game, and they're going to pull their content, I believe, from Netflix.
They're pulling the content from Netflix,
maybe Amazon, if it's anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so,
I think Hulu's the only one that is going to be able to stream Disney stuff, because they have that contract together.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Disney Plus is launching, I think, in November.
That's right, it's called Disney Plus. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with that. But yeah,
they got to make sure they got the content. I think that's the key. So that's why they're pulling a lot of their stuff out from all the other sources, because otherwise you'll rip through all the Disney catalog and be done with it. So that's why they're getting all these Marvel shows. They're getting a Star Wars show. It's all going to be like that way. It's like a network.
They're going to need a lot of original content.
Exactly, they're going to need a lot of original content.
Yeah,
so I think they got like 4 Marvel shows. They got at least 1 Star Wars show.
So maybe that'll be good for smaller producers, directors, and filmmakers like yourself. Yeah. Because even though these big guys are gobbling up the market and getting into streaming and removing their content from other places, and to hopefully draw new subscribers and eyeballs to watch, they're going to need new ideas, original ideas, new content, because they're not going to keep being able to reboot the same stuff. Because even Netflix, I've seen people complaining about a little bit, not huge,
but it's true though. Netflix is like sometimes it's a huge hit or miss.
Yeah,
like a miss is pretty bad. Like you can get some pretty crappy stuff that's Netflix originals.
Yeah,
but then you'll get some stuff that's gems, like brilliant.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, exactly. I don't know if you watch Sense8, but Sense8's brilliant as well. Sense8. It's the Wachowskis.
Everyone has new powers.
No, it's weird, man. It's like a totally different world that I've never seen anything like this before.
Really?
So it's like, it takes place in a world where there's not just Homo sapiens, but these other things called Homo Sense8, which is 8 people that share one consciousness all around the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so people are born, but then a Homo Sense8, or something like that, I might be getting the word wrong, the 8 of them are born at the exact same time, all around the world.
Yeah.
But they're only reborn later for their consciousness to be like combined as one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And so it's like about this one group of 8 that's born into this world, reborn as a Sense8, and figuring out what the hell's going on. There's like 2 seasons in a movie. It's brilliant. It's really, really well done. But that's like a Netflix original there, and they got a lot of good stuff. But I think, to like jump back at what you're saying about these new opportunities that are arising with the advent of all these streaming services, with like the fact that television is more film-like now, and film is more television-like now too. When you think about it that way, you know, with the MCU, it's just a massive TV series.
Yeah.
Star Wars, a massive TV series. That's all that these things are. So they're all kind of emulating each other. It's changing the industry, and you're giving opportunity for more of these kind of filmmakers to express themselves in a freer way. But I think what comes up as an issue is that they may not be necessarily tapping the right talent to do these jobs.
Yeah.
I think I wrote about it as well. It's like there's a nepotistic attitude in this industry where we're just going to use the people that are established, and we're not going to take a risk to try someone new who's just like, you know, spent a few years out of film school struggling. You know, you can't get your foot in the door unless you got an agent going with you.
Somebody that already has the connections and will sell you and kind of pitch your material and you as an individual.
Yeah.
I have a question. I always felt in film and movies like a good love story always makes a great movie, and I feel like you almost can't even have a decent movie without a good love story. Do you think that's true, or can you name a few examples of ones that don't, or maybe the love story's underplayed, or it doesn't even exist?
When it works in a natural way, like as like a very natural kind of side plot, it works really well. But sometimes they kind of chuck in that love story and it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So there's some instances that really work, that I think that like they play with that kind of chemistry between two characters. It's not necessarily a great movie, but I like what they did with the kind of female-male interaction with Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Is that with the
Guillermo del Toro with the giant robots?
Oh man, are we back to?
Yeah, it's live-action anime. But you know, you have these two characters, you know, established.
Okay.
There's a male and a female character, and it seems like, oh, they're gonna make them kiss at the end. I hate it when they make them kiss at the end, and they don't. It's fine, and it works. So it's like to know when to put it in, and then when not to put that in. When to like hold out on the romance, or when to inject it is a smart play.
You know, because I always like love stories that are really messed up. Like, for instance, like where the two characters are both jacked up in their own individual ways, but somehow they manage to come together and kind of fight through and make it, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, some, like, True Romance.
True Romance is great,
The Professional, I mean, it's kind of weird because they're friends and nothing actually happens.
Well, it would be weird if it did happen.
Yeah. There's undertones, but, I mean, you know, he looks out for her, she looks out for him, and, you know, that, and, I mean, I don't know, what does it say? True Romance.
Even like the relationship between like Uma Thurman's character and John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's like an amazing part of the film.
Because he was just protecting her.
Yeah, but there's like so much chemistry that goes on, and you could tell that they really felt for each other.
And that's the good part. The foreplay leading up, like the kind of playfulness between, you know, the masculine, feminine energy, and they're just kind of, you know, doing their thing. Because I mean, that's the exciting part that leads up to like whatever, you know, climax that really keeps you like interested and gets the hooks in.
Of course, so I think that used correctly, like in True Romance, can be very powerful. But when ham-fisted in, to reuse the term, it just comes across as like eye-rolling and annoying.
How about Australia?
Oh yeah?
What, like, do you miss New Jersey, or do you miss the States at all?
Yeah, I miss New Jersey.
Yeah? What do you miss?
I don't miss the bullshit.
What's the bullshit?
You know, like, the bullshit is the stranglehold the news media has on the populace in this country.
Oh, okay. And just in the U.S. in general?
Yes.
The
it doesn't
media
exist in Australia.
Really?
People don't give a shit. For better or worse, they're very apathetic.
Okay.
So, you know, no one's really paying attention to the news that much. No one's really, you know, most people probably don't even know who the Prime Minister is.
I don't.
Yeah. It's this dude, Scott Morrison, or ScoMo as he's called. He's an asshole too. But
aren't they all?
I think that's part of the
They come in different flavors of asshole.
They do. But so, what just happened recently? We had the Mueller thing going on.
Yeah.
That was a media circus, man.
It's
I feel
the
like
dog
that,
and pony.
I feel like it was all done just so every news outlet can get their soundbite and spin it however they want it.
And get the eyeballs.
Get the ratings up.
You
the
know.
whole thing just felt to me like last year when I was here in the States, there was the Kavanaugh hearing, which to me, I felt like the dude's going to get in regardless of what he did or didn't do.
Did he get in?
Yeah, he got in.
But they just don't talk about him.
No, because he's in and whatever. It's on to the next story now. And it's like, it's got this like, this season on American News Cycle, we're going to talk about the Mueller report. It's like, and last season was the Kavanaugh hearings. It's just like these, I get this major sense that the media is just like, just doing whatever they can to keep those hooks in everybody and to get those eyeballs on the screen. And the other media outlets are just gobbling it up, loving it, getting their sound bites, keep putting their spin on it. Mueller, everyone loves Mueller. Either because he's an old man who doesn't know what he's saying, or because he was right in everything he said. Because both stories are happening at the same time. It's crazy. In Australia, it doesn't exist.
That must be nice, man.
That's one of the best things. And, healthcare, taken care of.
Oh, really?
Public health care. No guns, so there's no gun violence. We still have violence, of course. Shit happens all the time. And the education, way better. Like, money is just, they put a lot more money into that. The government funds the arts there. You can get Australian film art grants from the government to make a movie.
Wow.
So it's like, I think a lot of these things need work. Like, their art grants do need a little bit more guidance to fix kind of their grassroots approach to it. Mm-hmm. But they exist. That's a lot more than America can say.
Yeah.
So I miss a lot of things about America, and I don't see myself moving back here unless those things are fixed.
Yeah, I don't know if those things
will ever be fixed.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real monetary incentive. It's probably not going to happen.
No, it's not, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And some things that I do miss, I miss my friends, I miss my family, I miss the food.
Yeah.
I miss bagels, I miss pizza. I miss banging Mexican food.
Yeah.
I miss the hustle and bustle of New York City. Mm-hmm. Going to New York every day for school and hanging out with my friends there. That the feeling of it is something that I miss too. So those are all things that I do miss. But at the same time, whenever I come back here, it's like I don't necessarily experience all those things anymore. It's more like that was the time of my life in which I did those things, and that's why I was able to experience. Now I got 2 kids, so I just I hang out. I hang out with my family. I don't necessarily try and push myself to go out into the city all the time. I go to in Australia, we live about maybe 30 minutes outside of the central business district of Melbourne.
Yeah.
So we're in the suburbs, and there'll be months that go by I don't even go into the city. It's just not part of what I do now.
Yeah.
So life changes.
I like that. That's what I kind of want to because we're not. Orange County is kind of weird because it's not. It's city-like, and there's lots of stuff here, but I wouldn't say it's got. It's got the hustle and bustle if you're on the main highways, and if you, you're on the 405, but it's not like New York,
Yeah.
With the, it's just not the same. The smell, the people,
yeah, it's very different.
People are more direct and outspoken on the East Coast of New York, and they're going to curse you out or flip you off. Here, people are just going to ignore you or pretend you don't exist, and maybe frown at you or something.
Behind your back.
Yeah, behind your back. Behind your back. They're not going to frown to you face to face.
The people here are very, very friendly in comparison to New York.
Mm-hmm.
We were walking around in Santa Monica yesterday, and just everyone you pass on the street just wanted to chat to you. I don't know if it's because I'm walking with my kids and my kids are adorable, or just everyone just wanted to chat. In New York, no one gives a shit who you are.
Nobody's
they don't even
stopping
look at you. They got their blinders on. They're going right past you.
Nobody's stopping you on the street to chat. New York, unless you're on a subway and then they're performing and asking you for money.
Yes.
But I miss like you, New Jersey. I miss the food. I miss the food the most, and then I do kind of like the attitude's kind of more direct.
Yes, there's no filters in Jersey.
Nah, there's no filters. I do like that because people always ask. I've been here 15 years, but everyone asks, "Where are you from?"
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I think I still carry that vibe.
Yeah.
And out here, I don't love the people, but I like opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just feel like out here, like, you can kind of do anything. I mean, there's always a job. Like, if you want work, there's always sales.
Yeah.
You can go cold call anywhere.
Yeah,
Any company will be more than happy to have you cold call, and you can make some money. I mean, I used to DJ. I made more money DJing than I made at any little hourly job. You know what I mean? And it was fun. And it's just a different lifestyle that allows you a lot of luxuries. I mean, just the weather.
Yeah.
The weather alone allows you, luxuries. Even if you're homeless out here, which we have decent homeless, like, they can survive.
Yeah.
Out here.
There's shanty towns all over LA.
Yeah. So, we don't have harsh winters. Where back east, you got harsh winters. Like, winter, you might be screwed. Like, you're definitely going to have to find.
Yeah.
You know?
I have a friend who's homeless in New York. He's been homeless for about 10 years. Yeah.
So, wait, he's like,
he's schizophrenic. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How do you keep in touch with him?
He's still on Facebook. Like,
so he's homeless, he's on Facebook, and he's schizophrenic.
Yeah. He's got an iPad. He panhandled and got an iPad.
What?
Yeah.
So that panhandling stuff is legit.
Yeah, it's legit, yeah.
Wait, how does... Okay, this is like... Okay, I feel
It's
like
another
completely sidetracked. I feel like...
But those are harsh winters, I can tell you. See what he goes through.
So, you have a friend.
Yeah.
He's schizophrenic. He's homeless. He lives in New York City.
Yeah.
And he has an iPad.
Yeah.
And a Facebook account.
Yeah, I think he's got a phone, too.
And a phone.
Yeah.
Now, how did he afford these things? Through panhandling?
Panhandling, yeah.
Okay. How did he become homeless?
Because he lost his mind. Like, I was friends with him before he went crazy.
He had like a psychotic break?
Yeah. It manifests, schizophrenia tends to manifest when you're in your mid-20s.
Oh, wow.
And he racked up a lot of student debts, and when he graduated from university, kind of the reality was all hitting him.
Oh.
You know, he didn't have any parents to fall back on to help him out, so he snapped.
Wow.
And he's been homeless ever since.
So, how... I'm wondering... Because I understand that. I understand, like, okay, so say maybe, like, in your family, through, some genetics and physiology, you're more susceptible to have schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And obviously, different, like, really traumatic events, like, not having any emotional, family support.
Yeah.
And then, you kind of come to this climax of adulthood where responsibility is yours. And that's the greatest pressure.
Yeah.
And all this debt and all this stuff. And you're just like... then you have that break, and okay, the schizophrenia,
manifests itself in that moment of kind of
and everything else just every foundation crumbles and disintegrates.
Yeah, you burn bridges with people, and
because they're not able to kind of support or understand.
Exactly. It's a really tough sickness to witness somebody going through, because they don't believe it to be reality. It's like they don't see themselves as sick. And that's what happened to him. And so a lot of people were just frustrated. Like, how come you can't get your shit together, man? Like, how come you can't just snap out of this? And didn't have the patience to deal with it. And I would safe it to say I'm probably one of his only friends.
Wow, that's crazy. I feel like I have so many questions regarding this, and I want to say, like, okay, so I was watching this thing with, you remember Dr. What was it, like the Love Line? Not Dr. Phil.
You wanted Dr. Maury Povich or whatever.
No, not Maury. He's got the white hair and the glasses. It was some doctor, Love Line doc. I forgot. He was with Adam Carolla and him were on the Love Line back in the day.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this guy was saying, he was having a discussion on a podcast with somebody, and the guy was saying, talking about the homelessness crisis.
Yeah.
And they were saying, and he was trying to say, oh, we don't have enough affordable housing, and that's the reason. And he, like, kind of came in and brought that to a screeching halt. He was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's not the reason we have a homeless problem. The reason we have a homelessness problem, because he was saying there's, and there might have been another segment, but he was saying there's people who are, can help themselves, and there's services out there for them.
Yeah.
There's different people who, are conscious, stable conscious mind who can get these services available. They go to them, they work their way up and stuff. But there is a segment of people who are mentally disabled and addicted to drugs and stuff that you cannot help with those kind of services.
Yeah.
And instead, those people end up in jail, or they end up maybe dying from drugs, or just, in some repetitive.
Yeah,
repetitive
like
cycle.
Some cycle, some vicious cycle.
Yeah, and it was really I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like I knew there was people that obviously there's kind of some crazy people, but you can't really. It's not treated as a health crisis. It's treated with like crime.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a crime to be mentally disabled.
You get sent to the
have
other
addiction.
prison. The prison for people who have mental illnesses. That's what happens.
Yeah, and then that's kind of a drain on our taxes and stuff. But he was just saying that it's a hoax what they're talking about, that there's like an affordable housing right. Like there is not a lot of affordable housing, but that's not the reason we have so much homelessness.
Yeah. The homelessness is because the infrastructure doesn't exist to help these people that you're describing.
Yeah, so they'll be perpetually homeless and just, kind of...
Which is what happens with my friend. Like, they'll go into like a program, gets him on his feet, seeing a doctor, but the infrastructure doesn't exist for him to maintain that, and he'll just fall right back off.
Those are the people that are just kind of fall through the cracks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, how often do you keep in touch with this friend?
I talk to him about once a year or so.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like, he'll reach out to me. I'll see, like, he goes onto these long rants of, like, gobbledygook nonsense and on Facebook, and he records his whole life, basically, with his phone and his iPad. So he'll be, like, talking and, like, in camera, like, and it's all mumbling nonsense.
Wow.
But sometimes he'll drop me a message or and he'll say something kind of coherent, and then it'll just like turn into like nonsense, and I'll write back and I say like, Chris, I hope you're well, and like, hope you get the help you need, and like, I'm always here for you if you want to talk.
All right, so you kind of send some positive energy out his way.
I
mean, what can you really do?
What can you really do? Yeah, I've dealt a lot with like wanting to help him in some meaningful way, but I'm just a dude and I live in Australia. Like, I can't do nothing for the guy.
Wow, that's so interesting to me. I mean, I find myself more interested today in things that I had no interest in when I was younger. Like I watch intellectuals debating at colleges and doing talks. Yeah. I'm reading about history, World War I, World War II, Vietnam. These different wars. I don't know. Was it the 4-Day War, the 3-Day war in Israel? Genocides. I don't know. What was it? It was the Killing Fields, the Moulin Rouge,
Khmer Rouge.
Moulin Rouge. I don't know. They're
both travesties.
I read about all these things that they don't teach you. They don't teach you about school. They don't necessarily teach you the truth, whether it's grade school or college. They touch on them, and usually from one angle. I look for different perspectives. I find people that I can talk to these things about. I do my own research, and it's just weird. It just opens up a whole new world of stuff that I'm just like, oh my god, people are suffering. People have suffered. Yeah. This is why things are this way.
Yeah, and I think that's but that's really important though for people to kind of have that understanding, because you need to know what we have gone through as a human race to know where we can go. So we don't tread backwards.
Yeah, we don't repeat.
We don't, because if you look, the more you look at history, the more you realize this shit's been going on. It keeps going on throughout all the ages. Now we just got fancier technology to do it.
Yeah.
So the more you kind of understand of where we've been in the history of the human race, the more you can see a positive way of getting through it.
Yeah.
It's just about whether or not who's looking at it. Who's reading these things?
So, I have two things, and I don't really want to get back to politics, but I want to. Obviously, in America, we have an issue when we have different, beliefs or political stuff. It's turned into tribe versus tribe type of thing.
It is.
Do you guys have these heated discussions about things in Australia, or is it just what are the discussions you guys are having, or what's heated or controversial, or?
I mean, there are issues that happen in Australia. And we do have there is that kind of divide between the people that are more open and understanding and the ones that are racist and idiots.
Okay.
the majority seems like, but then again, you're in the echo chamber. I live in a metropolitan area. Of course, the majority of the metropolitan area is going to be more open-minded and more accepting of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But then you might go to some places in like, rural Australia, in the bush, where you'll have all these old, angry white men.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unfortunately, you have the indigenous people who are drunk and shunned.
Kind of like we have here.
Yes.
Same thing. Same
issues.
old story.
Same old story.
Okay.
So, you do have these issues, and I think it doesn't have necessarily that same tribal mentality because the party lines are so obscure. Like, you cannot tell... I can't tell you the difference between the two major parties in Australia. I have no idea.
Mm.
They both seem very similar to me. And I asked Australians there, what is the difference between Labour and Liberal? Liberal in Australia is more conservative.
Yeah,
that was confusing.
The traditional definition
yes.
of liberal
yes.
isn't the same one over
here.
here.
That was a confusing thing for me to learn.
Yeah,
but,
it still is for me.
But it was... They're like, there's not really any difference. I was like, really? All right. Okay. And I think that's kind of where the apathy falls in, though. It's like, you gotta find some kind of balance between what you got going on here, where it's just angry discourse.
Yes, very angry.
And what you have in Australia, which is basically apathy. People just don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in between where you have intelligent discourse, where you have difference of opinions, and a general understanding that we're all in this together, and we all got to get through this together, despite any racial or cultural differences or gender differences that we might have.
Yes.
We're just not quite there yet.
No, we're definitely not there. Okay, to move away from politics, which is fine, but I did want to ask that. Have you seen this new the Neurolink thing and Elon Musk? He's ready for...
I remember you were talking about this on one of your episodes. It sounded nuts. That's the only time I ever
No.
heard about it.
Well, we have human trials slated for summer 2020.
Oh my god!
I watched
That's
his
insane.
I watched his TED Talk, like,
All right.
kind of what was it? Bob, what was his name from Apple? Bob.
The guy who's in charge of Apple now?
That was in charge.
Oh, okay.
What was his name? What was this guy? He like when he came out and announced the new Apple phones and stuff.
Wait, the guy who passed away?
Yeah. God, I can't remember anybody's
This is
name.
terrible. Yeah, it's Daddy Brain.
Daddy brain. You have kids and you just lose your mind. You
Yeah.
can't remember anything. Well,
That dude. There was
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs.
Okay, so Elon Musk, he did like an announcement. It was kind of like Steve Jobs announcing the new iPhone.
Okay, yeah.
And he comes out and he starts talking about Neurolink, which is essentially going to be the computer or chip interface between your brain and an app on your iPhone.
Yeah.
And he's talking about doing human trials in summer 2020.
That's pretty crazy.
And that's crazy.
That's pretty
And
crazy.
it'll be a Bluetooth technology,
Yeah.
so it'll be like beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ah!
It's like, I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not quite ready. I feel like the human race needs to go in this direction, but I'm not quite ready for it to be there. And I was hoping that it would be like my grandchildren's thing that they would deal with, and not like
We're here.
next year.
No, it's next year. But they showed pictures of it, like how they're gonna implant it. It's not gonna be what do they call it? Obtrusive.
Are they using people that are like handicapped for it at least? Like, because I feel like that'd be a really good application.
The big sell is they're saying this will help transmit signals for people who have different disabilities and stuff.
Okay.
It'll better help. And this is stuff people have, I guess they have research, they've had success in the past with
amputees or something as well.
Yeah, things like that and the technology, but the amount of smart people they have working on this and the amount of advances they've had in-house from how many, like, I don't know, receptors and channels it has from the beginning to where it is now, where it had a few hundred or something to like thousands.
Yeah.
And how it's like a chip encapsulated in like this clear silicone something shell, and then like a cable to the thing, like putting
crazy.
between your synapses, like the space, and picking up the chemical signals and
that's crazy.
Reading them, and then you see it on this screen, like little transient,
The
I mean,
peaks and valleys.
And they're saying, and I just feel like some people they don't care, they don't understand. But like whenever you have like a change, somebody has like great intentions to make a change, and I think the aphorism is like the road to something is paved with good intentions.
Yes.
The road to hell.
The road to hell is
paved with good intentions. And so there's obviously good intentions with this. Like, you're going to help people who are disabled.
Yeah.
But will the pros of this outweigh the cons? Because you're going to have unintended consequences of this technology. I'm not saying stop the technology. I'm just saying, like, in research studies, refer to these people as early adopters. I will not be an early adopter.
Yeah, no.
I'm far...
Neither am I.
For one...
Unless something happens to me where I need it, I'm not. Yeah.
I mean, I'm far too aware of... I mean, just from a cybersecurity point, because I'm really into that stuff, the Bluetooth, that can be easily intercepted.
Hacked.
Encryption is nothing,
really,
or it might not even, might be clear.
Bluetooth is one of the easiest things to get.
I mean, the app on your phone, they already have all these rights. The Face app, the terms and conditions.
I'm not touching
debacle,
that Face app.
Cambridge Analytica. I mean, this has been going a long time. You're just signing away, waving away all your rights when you install that app, and to give them access to your brain. There's no longer like they're trying to convince you to say, what are you thinking? It's literally reading all of it, and it's transforming.
And then it's like when you're asleep, what's that data that's going to be going to it then? All this dreaming data? That's going to be weird stuff, man. Imagine the marketing that's going to be going on.
Everyone in the comments was like, oh, I'm going to have to pay like $19.99 not to have advertisements in my brain to like stop. Oh, if you want to see this YouTube show without advertisements, then pay
$19.99 a month.
But I think the same people that wait in line for iPhones, for Teslas, for Jordans, early adopters, people who are like, oh, new tech, wait in line for it.
Yeah.
Let's get it. I think they'll sell it. I feel like they're going to sell it with some celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
They'll sell the medical from the medical kind of platform.
Yeah.
I think they'll get some celebrities involved. They'll get some really good, like, niche marketing, audience segmentation. They'll hit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, this is crazy. I don't think the government's gonna get in their way. I don't think anyone's gonna get in their way. I think it's going full force.
I think that it's an essential step in humankind to kind of do that, but I don't think we're there as a society to accept it.
To accept what?
That kind of technology.
Well,
because I think that there's too much danger involved. There's too many people looking out for number one, rather than, like, we need to have a more altruistic approach to something like this.
Yeah.
Gotta get rid of every asshole.
Well, that's not gonna happen. We got assholes running the country. Whether, running, I mean, my problem is like, people, I feel like they always, they want to be, they prefer convenience over safe.
Yes.
Over, like, privacy.
Yes.
Like, with the phones. They want things that are convenient. They don't care about the privacy. I didn't do anything, so it doesn't matter. They can have all my information.
Yeah.
Until it affects them in a way that
but
they
by
don't
that point
like.
in time, it's too late.
But it'll absolutely be too
By the
too
time
late.
they come knocking on your door for downloading Game of Thrones, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's far too late, my friend.
Yeah, like, people don't really, like, they don't, what I want to say, like, they don't even care, like, when they get the ads and all this stuff, because they're talking in the microphone, and then it's going to the company, and then they're recommending all. They don't even care about that. They're like, oh, that's funny. Let's make a meme about it, laugh, and keep scrolling. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're getting recommended stuff based on their buying habits and stuff they're doing and saying and their locations. Yeah. But they don't really. They're like, whatever,
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just.
It's that apathy.
It is. It's. I think. Yeah. People maybe have apathy about politics in Australia. Here, apathy about
technology.
I think just the government, and I think in their freedoms, different freedoms being encroached upon. Like freedom of speech. We're having arguments about freedom of speech. Like, I mean, you don't like what somebody's saying, but if the people get in power that you don't like, they'll have those same powers to shut you up as you had to shut them up. Yeah. Like, they don't really. I don't think
see the other side of the coin.
I don't think they do. Yeah. I don't think they quite understand. They kind of want to, like, subcontract responsibility to someone else and not really think it through with any type of critical thinking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess I do want to end on a positive note.
Okay.
If what advice or anything would you suggest for people getting into film or film? I guess.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. You know, it's a really hard industry to break into, and I wrote about this in the pre-interview questions, but it was like, you'll have the door closed on you so many times, and you have to keep creating, keep networking, don't give up, because you'll get there one day as long as you just keep at it.
Yeah.
And I'm from the approach that, you know, filmmaking is all about the people that you do it with.
Yeah.
It's the team that you put together. And never close yourself off to other people that are in your boat that are also trying to get into the industry. There's too much of this dog-eat-dog kind of Darwinism that's going on in the world that you forget that we can achieve so much more together than we can on our own. And filmmaking especially is all about how you can do it as a team.
Absolutely.
The more amazing people you can work with to achieve your vision, if you're the director, the better your vision will be. So never think about, how can I use you to get into the industry? Think about it, we're all in this boat. If we can't get into the industry ourselves, let's just build it. Let's just do it.
Absolutely.
And like, you know, I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but that's what we're doing with my friends in Australia, Mad Alice Media.
Yeah.
So if I get a second to
Tell me
pimp
about
that. So Mad Alice Media is like, we're 4 amazing filmmakers in Melbourne, and we're all about that, basically. We want to just create content. We have a lot of our own gear, and so like we have, you know, I've directed 2 films with them the past year, or since December.
Yeah.
And between the 2 films, both of them, they were shot in like a day. We had all of our own gear. I think I spent less than $500 altogether for making 2 films. And if you're a filmmaker, spending $500 to make a film is insanely cheap.
Yeah.
Insanely cheap.
Yeah.
So the fact that we can work together so well as a team and get things done so quickly and without any money and still kind of stay true to the vision of the project is a testament to how well we all work together.
Yeah.
And you might find those opportunities with the people that you went to school with, or, you know, on set somewhere. You might meet somebody else who's a PA with you and, you know, become friends, and, you know, it's just all about never closing yourself off to those things and never giving up on your dream.
Yeah.
So, you know, with Mad Alice Media, like, you know, we're like that. We're growing our network constantly. So if you're listening, if you're in Australia, reach out to us. We'd love to work with you. And, like, if, you know, you want to see some of our films, you can jump on, just Google Mad Alice Media. We got a lot of films online. We're trying to pump out a film every month.
Yeah.
And so we're going to link it into a Patreon account. You know about Patreon?
Yeah. I saw you guys have a Patreon account.
Yeah. So we link it into our Patreon account, and if you really love what we're doing and you want to see kind of some of our journey as filmmakers, you can, you know, give us a little bit of money every month, and you can check out our, like, kind of behind the scenes vlogs and that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, I think we're all doing amazing stuff down there, and we want to just kind of keep doing it. And the more people that watch what we're doing, the more loftier our goals can be, because people be like, damn, I love what they're doing. I don't mind giving them $5 a month.
Okay.
And so we get 1,000 people give us $5 a month, and then we can make some pretty, like, badass short films. Eventually, you know, we can be making our own feature films. You know, you don't know what it'll lead to, but, you know, we just want to kind of keep pumping stuff out, keep, you know, interacting with our audiences, keep growing our network, and see where this whole journey kind of takes us. And, you know, part of what we do is, like, I do a podcast as well. Yeah. So this is the Good Beer, Bad Movie Night. It's very different from your podcast. Yeah. But it does involve people sitting down and talking and running their mouth. So what it is like, me and my friend Mike will sit down and we'll drink craft beer. Yeah. And we'll watch a bad movie. And sometimes we'll have friends come sit down, and we record the whole thing. I edit it down. It's usually record for like 3 hours, and like I edit it down to about an hour and a half per episode or so. We put episodes out every month. So that's another fun thing that you know listeners of this might be keen to check out. And you know, we will be doing like special interview episodes as well, where you know I'll apply my interview tactics, talking to like brewers and filmmakers.
Yeah.
And we'll have beer as well, and just have a chat with them. It's kind of like I guess a more tame Joe Rogan, yeah.
Yeah.
Beers instead of joints, and that'll be available for people who like kind of give $5 a month on our Patreon too.
All right, so
that's out there.
That's a good beer, bad movie, and also
Good beer, bad movie night, and
Mad Alice Media.
Mad Alice Media. You
All
got it.
right, so yeah, you guys should check that out. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Black Aaron Broadcast. Thank you, Ruben Meltzer here, coming all the
Aaron
way
Black.
from Australia.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
My #1 fan. Maybe, international, crazy. People listen to me in Australia.
It's all thanks to Barry, really.
All thanks to Barry, the
yeah.
hipster god. And, yeah, man. Geez, you know what? Crap. I kind of wanted to ask you what you think of, have you seen Midsommar?
No, I'm going to see it tonight with Barry.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right, so you're going to see that.
I love Ari Aster. I think Hereditary is an amazing film, and he's
it was.
quickly becoming one of my favorite filmmakers.
Absolutely. How can you...
Yeah,
I
quickly.
mean...
Unbelievable talent. But I do gotta say, I fucked up.
What?
I forgot to list 2 filmmakers when you asked me my favorite filmmakers.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm so terrible. So I forgot to say John Cassavetes, and I forgot to say Martin Scorsese.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
Obviously.
I totally ruined all your pre-interview questions.
As long as we're going over here, and it doesn't really matter. We can do whatever we want. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I was going to ask non-film related, because I know your wife actually converted to Judaism.
Yeah, man.
Was that weird, or was that okay, or was it
it was part of the process. So
Yeah.
it's like I always wanted to have a Jewish family.
Yeah.
It was part of what I saw myself having in the future.
The future.
And I always saw myself, once I started dating my wife, I always saw myself with my wife. So in order for me to kind of get married, that was going to be part of it. And I asked her, I said, would you be open to that? And this is early days too.
You have to early, or else you get years down the road.
This was we were dating for maybe 3 or 4 months when I asked her about it, and she said, yeah, I'd be open to that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I think she was like, well, what would we do if I didn't convert? And I said, I don't want to see anybody else. I'd stay with you, and maybe we won't get married, but we'd still probably have a family. But if we have kids, it's easier to be a Jewish household. I want to instill that kind of ethos that I grew up with of being in a Jewish household in my kids.
Okay.
And so you're celebrating the holidays, always having Shabbat dinner, and we don't get to synagogue that often, but when we do, trying to do that, and keeping kosher as well is a big part of it. So my kids, my wife's family's all Vietnamese.
Yes.
So it's we go over to my wife's family, and my daughter will be like, is this Jewish food? It's like, no, it's not. Don't eat the meat.
It's not kosher. At least they're thinking, they're conscious.
Exactly. And then that's kind of what I wanted to be able to instill in them. So it wouldn't have been that case unless my wife knew about it too.
Wow.
And learned all about it. So as soon as we made the decision, and when I moved to Australia, I think not long after, we started going to a conversion class.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's beautiful. You found somebody on the same page.
Yeah.
You got the family. I got the family.
Yeah,
Trying to raise some decent individuals out here.
Yeah, you'll do it.
Live life.
You'll do it.
There's no other choice, man.
There's no other choice.
There's no going back now. So, okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up there.
Sounds good.
Black Aaron Broadcast. Ruben Meltzer, again, thanks for coming on, brother,
Thanks
the way
for having me.
from Australia,
Yep.
Filmmaker, New Jersey guy.
Yep.
Great dude, and so...
New friend.
So, yeah, stay blessed, don't stress, stay tuned, Black Aaron Broadcast. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
See ya.
It's the Black Aaron Broadcast. It's the Black Aaron